Okay, so when I put up a video about the inauguration of Trump's presidency, including the Nazi salute from Elon Musk, I lost a ton of subscribers because presumably they probably thought, well, I was hoping this was going to be a light channel. I don't really want to watch stuff about politics. I'm going to just unsubscribe. And I thought, oh, maybe I shouldn't be putting political stuff on here. And I wasn't going to necessarily jump at the opportunity to do more of that. But I am so stunned. I can't stop thinking about the truly bizarre, disgusting, vile treatment of Zelensky at the Oval Office recently that we've all watched. There's been lots of people commentating about it, but I feel like everyone should comment on it. I think everyone should be up in arms at the outrageous audacity of what appears to be, I don't know, it just seems to be idiotic as much as anything else. It's clearly very belligerent and aggressive, but also so stupid what Trump and Vance are facilitating at these meetings and their approach to international conflict and international relations. It's bizarre that they would be so stupid that they want to try and produce an escalation of international conflict in the way that they are doing, and the way that they basically ambushed Zelensky. They brought him on to this press conference at the Oval Office to attempt to humiliate him. And I've seen some reports on Fox News where they've suggested that Zelensky walked away thinking, oh, I did that wrong, and that Trump and Vance had done something somehow impressive. And all around the world, all the other press and the more level-headed American press, from what I've seen from other websites and all that, have said how shocking and deplorable it was. And I just don't understand how even if you were pro-Trump for some policies that, you believed his economic policies or something, his domestic policies, I don't know, whatever would make you pro-Trump, maybe you believed in the abortion thing or the trans thing or whatever, but to think that you would somehow believe that the Ukraine were to blame for what was happening in the Ukraine, and that Russia weren't the aggressors, is truly incredible that you would even think that could be some kind of line of logic. And then to somehow applaud the treatment of Zelensky in that meeting is just weird. But I've seen some reports from America and some of the Republican politicians saying that kind of thing. But there is general outrage, quite rightly. But there is also just this very, very scary development in American politics, a very powerful country. Somehow, populist politics has produced some sort of affection for mavericks. This crazy logic, I've never understood the logic, this crazy logic that, oh, well, we don't want a politician, we want some ordinary man that is not a traditional politician because politicians have let us down. It's such a bizarre line of logic, I think, because if they're mavericks, you don't know what they're going to do, and they probably haven't got the same grasp of political law and international law, international relations, diplomacy. That meeting that we watched with Zelensky was the complete opposite of diplomacy. There was no decorum in it. They looked like children that were bullying someone in the playground, and it was pathetic, but it was equally scary. it was a mix of things there was nothing positive about it. The only positive thing in it was Zelensky's incredible resolve, the way he sat there and was really articulate. He stood his ground. He answered everything. Well, when they let him speak, he answered what they were saying, and he was like, I'm not playing cards, thinking, what are you talking about, using this language as if this is some trivial thing, and you're talking about my country being bombed. And he was like utterly shocked by what they were saying, as much as some of the people watching it were shocked. And then they start having to go at him about not wearing a suit, which is just it's just so weird, so weird. And his response was incredible, and he just such a strong man. And he's been, in his last 3 years, he's been shown to be such an incredibly strong man, and such an inspiration internationally, such an important figurehead, and someone that I think will be admired for many, 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 many years. And the history books will paint him in an extremely good light. But he's standing his ground because these people set him up to try to humiliate him, and that is insane. And Trump and JD Vance, they delight in this isolationist rhetoric, where they are trying to suggest that they're doing everything for America, and what can you do for us? And it's such a bizarre way of treating someone who has been invaded by a larger aggressor, to bring him onto to their soil and say, well, we could help you, but we need to have some advantage in this. What is in it for us? And the rest of Europe are not doing that. The rest of Europe are saying Russia's out of order, we stand with Ukraine. And I really think it's just weird that America, at the moment, not all Americans, but America as a political force, is not doing that. It's literally saying, well, what can you do for us? And it's such a strange thing. But it totally, but Trump is being very consistent. And there should be outrage and worry amongst all the Republicans, all the people that voted for him. Really should be worried about the fact that he can't even have some sort of sensible discourse with journalists that are asking him questions. Because what happens is, if he doesn't like the question, he calls them nasty. He says, you're nasty, you're not professional, you shouldn't be asking those questions. And he's just name-calling journalists, which is insane. Answer the question. But he doesn't do that. He says they're nasty. He doesn't think the question should be answered. And he moves on because he's waiting for questions that are about how great he is. And that is a very dictatorial thing to do. But it's also completely unhelpful. It's totally not open as a leader of a country. It's got a very specific attitude to the press that lends itself to censorship, which is also what he's doing. These are very strange times. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because I would love it if some of the people that might see this from America can write in the comments what I'm assuming is a large number of people in America that are shocked and upset by what's happening to the American Senate and American leadership, what they can actually do about it. Because we're watching from afar. There's only so much we can do. We can talk about it. We can moan about it. Initially, we were laughing about it, but we're clearly not laughing anymore. It's very, very serious. But there's lots of people that in America that would be outraged by it and upset by it and shocked by it. So what is the process in America? What happens now? What happens when you've got a large swell of outrage and shock and upset with your leader? Because I don't believe that he has got this kind of mandate that he thinks he has to do this crazy shit he's doing. I think this mandate is about some of the things that he's done that some people have been really happy about. and this idea of some sort of economic change where he's going to make eggs cheaper or whatever. I don't think this mandate was about making the international political situation a lot worse and basically running his international relations alongside Putin's. I don't think that was what people were giving him a mandate for. So what is the situation? What's the response that Americans can do if they are outraged? Because clearly, I don't think people who would feel passionately about what's happening, that would feel patriotic about their own country in America, would want to just forget about it and ignore it. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of pushback. So what is the pushback? What's the system in America? I know what might have happened in this country if some crazy nutcase, say Farage got in and he started being really bizarre internationally. I don't think he'd last very long in this country. I think he'd be booted out and it'd be the whole place would probably go out in the streets and all that sort of stuff. We're a smaller country, and I think the system is more complicated over there. But what does happen? What is America's response to this crazy shit he's doing? Because it's incredibly serious, and the way he treated Zelensky is so immoral. It's so deplorable. It's disgusting. It's vile. It's vile the way they treated him, and he's such a admirable man. He's such a heroic figure, and they treated him like shit. And it was such a blatant indication of what we're looking at as far as this American leadership. So what is the response? What is the what can America do now? If there's lots of Americans that are thinking, well, hold on a minute, this is not what we voted for, or there's obviously the huge wave of people that didn't vote for him anyway, what is the response? I'd really love to know. I'd love to find out from American people that might watch this, what's next? What besides just letting him ride roughshod over the international world, but especially America, you know, like to just like put all this bullshit over America. Besides just letting him do that, what is the response? Please write comments below about what is the next step, because people have been commenting on this stuff and it's extremely important and people do need to comment on it, but I want to know what's next. What, you know, because I was saying to my wife a little while ago, before this this press conference with Zelensky, I made a comment that I don't think he's going to last because people are going to not put up with it. But is that a thing? Am I being too naive about American politics? Do you just put up with it? Do you wait until the next election, or can you intervene now because he's gone batshit crazy? What is the system? I really, really want to know, because as far as I know, I don't know what the rules are for a vote of no confidence. That's what we'd call it in this country, a vote of no confidence, that would come from a groundswell of opinion, that would be protests and whatever, those kind of things. I mean, is that kind of thing happening in America? Please let me know in the comments. And I don't know. Good luck, everybody.